Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners held for the purpose of transacting the general business of the Township. Today's date is September 11, 2019. The meeting is being held in the Springfield Township building. Please stand and join the Board of Commissioners in a moment of silent reflection, honoring the memory of the civilians and first responders who lost their lives in the terrorist attacks that occurred 18 years ago on this date in New York City, Washington, D.C., and suburban Pittsburgh, as well as the servicemen and women who have placed themselves in harm's way since then in order to help preserve our safety at home and overseas. Thank you. Please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this point, I would entertain a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting as written and recorded in the official minute book of the Township.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. At this point, we are down 2 people tonight. Commissioner Sham is away on an employer obligation, and our solicitor, Mr. Garrity, is not here, and his partner, Mr. Andy Freeman, is to my left. The Board of Commissioners conducted an executive session following the workshop meeting held on September 9th to discuss one personnel matter and one matter of litigation. At this point, the Board is now open to comments or questions from the public. The Board draws particular attention to those items listed on the agenda this evening. Please be advised that once the committee reports begin, the Board can no longer accept questions from the floor. At the conclusion of the committee reports, public comments will once again be accepted. However, official action on those issues listed on the agenda will have already taken place. We are now open for public comment. You know the drill.
The Right Honorable Giuseppe, G-I-U-S-E-P-P-E, Craney, C-R-A-N-E-Y, hyphen Monticelli, M-O-N-T-I-C-E-L-L-I. Could be commenting about some agenda items here tonight that I think are important to be raised. Why? Agenda item number 5, the energy efficiency audit. Authorized the engagement of Practical Energy Solutions to conduct a energy benchmarking study at the Township's municipal campus. Why do we need this conducted, and how much is this could be costing? I do acknowledge that the Sunshine Act provides that you don't have to respond to a taxpayers' questions.
I'm happy to answer the question.
I know you guys, unlike unlike other municipalities, you guys do love to go ahead and be friendly with your taxpayers, and I would appreciate a answer to that.
Yes. This was, as we all know, this building is very new, and the other buildings in the campus are very new, and they were built to LEED specifications, so they're very energy efficient. Mm-hmm. But one of the taxpayers was concerned that the buildings might not be properly tuned up. You know, you can put all these fancy things in there, but if they're not set right, and the lights, you know, the timers on the lights and the way the heat comes and goes. Mm-hmm. So they presented us with that last month at a slightly, the price tag we're getting to is actually less than $2,000, but at a higher price tag. And we were like, why would we be doing this on a building that's a year old? So we had staff, and particularly Public Works, meet with these people to figure out if they can provide value added. And the conclusion of that was that the best thing to do right now is to benchmark. So they're going to come in and create benchmarks and try and figure out the best way so that we can properly analyze what's going on here to make sure the building is well tuned. So this is a very low dollar amount, but that's what's coming up. It's more than was originally proposed.
Okay. I was originally going to object to that, but with the answer provided, I believe that would be appropriately and rightfully just to be approved tonight, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Also, I want to comment about the Paper Mill Road School Zone warning flashers, authorized the engagement of McMallen Associates, I probably butchered that real good, to complete Phase 3 School Zone Flasher design services for the Springfield Middle and High Schools in accordance with their proposal dated February 26, 2019. That came up from a very serious incident that occurred in November of 2018 with a minor being struck by he was riding his bicycle and being struck by a MV motor vehicle. Very sad incident. Luckily, there was no deaths in regards to that, but it shows of how implementation of school flashers would benefit at the high school and middle school, okay? Like what I've said in the past, before this honorable commissioners board, that this is a item that I do approve for, and I rightfully just every time, but you know, I would object to it because I believe sincerely that the school district should have paid for this project. But then again, you have to go ahead and vote for it because you need to be the ones upholding the law here and at least doing some type of work for your taxpayers. I believe that is a just. But when we come around to when the building down here, the K-2 center, the early learning center that's being constructed on Montgomery Ave, I know they'll go for that. And I think we should have flashers down there. And hopefully, doing my best journalism work I can, we can get the district to pay for that. But I think for this, I think this would be appropriately just tonight, commissioners, to go ahead and vote on.
Okay, hold on. Let me
yeah.
respond.
Go ahead.
That we have conditional on the other one, right? Yeah, this one, there wasn't much we could, there was nothing we could do. The more important thing is get them in there. But that one, the whole plan of construction there says that if they are required and warranted, the school district will pay for it.
Okay.
So that one, you've already won your fight there. And I thank you for your help in bringing this issue up. You know, start thinking about it and say, why wasn't it there 50 years or whenever they started? So it's great.
Yeah.
It's not actually quite as good as we wanted, even though it's in front of both schools. They truncated it a little bit to keep it away from Hawthorne. That we didn't get every foot we wanted, but it's still going to slow the cars down and be useful.
Yeah, especially, and for the record, I didn't bring it up. I commented about it
well,
at some
were here,
workshops, but
right.
It was the mother of the minor that got hit on the bicycle that actually brought it up to Honorable Esquire Commissioner Graham's attention, and that was great that she brought that up.
Okay.
But thank you. That's
Do you
all.
have one more thing? Okay. Thank you. It's nice that you want to be informed. Do we have any other public comment at this point? Going once, going twice? Okay. We will move to the committee reports, and I will start out as the chairman of the Internal Affairs and Library Committees. The September bill listing, which is item number 1 on the agenda, I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the August check reconciliation in the amount of $731,676.40, and the September bill listing in the amount of $951,433.14. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We're missing Commissioner Shum here tonight. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. Next is announcing the budget meeting schedule. We will be meeting next Wednesday, September 18th at 7 o'clock with the support agencies. That would be the 3 fire companies, the Ambulance Association, and the Planning Commission. We will have a budget workshop on Wednesday, October 16th at 7 o'clock. The budget will be presented at our business meeting in November. That's November 13th at 7:30. The budget hearing and adoption will be at the December business meeting, which is December 11th, also at 7:30. All of those meetings will be held in this room and at the Springfield Township building. The next item on the agenda is Resolution 1480, The Board of Commissioners has a statutory obligation to adopt a resolution setting forth the minimum municipal obligations to properly fund the 3 township pension plans and incorporate the minimal municipal obligations into the succeeding year township budget. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt Resolution 1480, a resolution establishing the 2020 pension fund minimum municipal obligations. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. Finally, concerning the township auditors, I move that the Board of Commissioners reappoint B. Bergvall and Company, certified public accountants, to serve as the Springfield Township auditors to audit the township's financial statements for the year December 31, 2019, consistent with the audit engagement letter dated August 7, 2019. The cost of the engagement is $23,000, which is $100 more, that's 0.4%, than the fee charged in 2017 and 2018. That is my motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote. That concludes my report, and I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Standish, who will both give the report of Commissioner Shum for Public Works and Facilities and his own for Community Development.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I have no report with respect to community development, but Mr. Shaw's report concerns the energy efficiency audit, and it goes as follows. On January 9, 2019, the Board of Commissioners adopted Resolution Number 1469, supporting the vision of a 100% clean renewable energy future, referred to as the Ready for 100 initiative. As a first step to achieving this goal, the Township desires to reduce energy use and costs by ensuring that municipal buildings are operating as efficiently as possible. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the engagement of Practical Energy Solutions to conduct an energy benchmarking study of the police, administration, public works, and library buildings in accordance with their proposal dated September 4th, 2019. The cost of the benchmark study is $1,725. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? I think we've explained.
I have a comment, Mr. President. For the benefit of the public, I would just like to explain just briefly what energy benchmarking is. And basically, is that they look at our building, they look at all the utilities that our buildings are consuming, and they look at like buildings in the same relative geographic area, and they compare and contrast how we're doing to the other buildings. That's the benchmarking idea. And so it begins to point out where we might have some advantage or some disadvantages with regard to our energy consumption, which will be important as we move towards 2035, when we're committed to be energy or electrically sufficient with regard to the what you mentioned, the Ready for 100 program. So just by way of background, I want to go on record saying that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Standish. We'll move back to Commissioner Wilson as Chairman of the Cultural and Environmental Resources Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a report for the recycling this month. And I'm pleased to report that during the month of August 2019, Springfield Township residents recycled 157.33 tons of materials with a householder participation rate of 79.2. The net cost for the month was $20,454.56. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. We move to the Chairman of the Parks and Recreational Resources Committee, Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one motion and one announcement. The motion is on the Beischer softball fields. On September the 5th, 2019, bids were received by the Beischer softball fields project. The project involves the expansion of an existing crushed stone parking lot, construction of a second baseball field, and minor stormwater management. The project is to be funded in part via a $50,000 grant from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Keystone Communities Program. A total of 4 bids were received, ranging from a low of $108,398 to a high of $198,609.36. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners of Springfield Township award a contract to Plymar Construction Company of Plymouth Meeting PM for their low bid of $108,398. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I won't comment. Just like to thank the board for understanding the need for the improvements for Beischer softball fields. I believe that the addition of this field will continue to allow the girls softball program that we have here in the township to get stronger than it currently is. That's all I have to say.
Great. Any other questions or comments?
Just one additional comment to just piggyback on what Commissioner Maxwell has said. It is a great project to show equity to all of our gendered programs here within Springfield Township. And these young ladies are excellent athletes, and that having this additional field will help to highlight the athleticness of and not only that, to develop them to bring in a championship to Springfield Township High School. Thank you.
Great. Any others? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
And finally, I have an announcement concerning the Springfield Township Community Day. Springfield Township Community Day Festival will be held on Sunday, October the 6th, 2019 at Cisco Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. All foods and activities are free. A 5K run and a 1-mile fun run walk will be held at 9 a.m. Runners and walkers may register now or on the morning of the race beginning at 7:45 a.m. Registration is also available through September the 20th via the Township website by clicking on the calendar and scrolling to the October 6th event for the Springfield Township Community Day and 5K race. Community Day activities will include music, food, drinks, craft, games, fishing at Hillcrest Pond, face painting, inflatable games, balloon twisting, displays by the Flourtown, Orland, and Winmore Flyer Companies, Springfield Township Police Department, and the Community Ambulance Association of Ambler. New this year will be the inaugural Rubber Ducky Derby, with all proceeds benefiting a disabled township resident suffering financial difficulties. That is my announcement.
And does that conclude your report?
And that also concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Graham. We move to the co-chairman of the Public Safety Committee, Commissioner Maxwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one item this evening. It's the school zone for Paper Mill Road. On March 19, 2019, the Board of Commissioners authorized the engagement of McMahon Associates Incorporated traffic engineers to conduct a school zone speed limit study to investigate the feasibility of installing a school zone warning signal along Paper Mill Road adjacent to the Springfield Township High School and middle schools. The results of the study submitted to PennDOT indicated that the warning signals were indeed warranted. Therefore, I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the engagement of McMahon Associates Incorporated to conduct Phase 3 school zone flasher design tasks 1 and 3 only, in accordance with their proposal dated February 26, 2019. The cost of the work is $4,800 for task 1, flashing warning device permit plan, and $5,600 for task 3, construction plans and contract bid document preparation, for a total cost of $10,400. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Please record a unanimous vote.
That concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxwell. Finally, we go to the chairman of the Zoning Committee, Commissioner Cobb.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I will announce that there is no meeting of the Springfield Township Zoning Hearing Board during the month of September, as there were no petitions received by the Zoning Hearing Board. The next meeting of the Zoning Hearing Board will be on Monday, October 28th at 7 p.m. in the Springfield Township Building. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Cobb. That concludes our committee reports. We are open for any further public comment. Do we have any?
Once again, for the record, the Right Honorable Gentleman Giuseppe, G-I-U-S-E, P-P-E Monticelli, M-O-N-T-I-C-E-L-L-I, from Springfield Ward 72. First, I want to go off and say thank you to Mr. Graham over there. He has done a phenomenal job with a recent issue in regards to a sidewalk that was township owned in the back of the OPC lot. You know, the district just recently moved a bus stop for some children in my neighborhood, and they moved it to a very inconvenient location. But with the help of Mr. Graham, at least some of the hazards right now were dealt with, of pruning bushes and all of that, and you guys are on the radar now for taking care of that sidewalk that has enormous amounts of cracks in it. I appreciate Mr. Graham's work and also the combined effort of this honorable board for taking care of that issue. My second thing...
If I may, before you move on,
go ahead.
I'd just like to add that I just brought that to the attention of our well-organized, well-prepared, and always willing to go the extra yard of our township manager, Mike Taylor, and also to the director of our public works, Don Sirianni. I just passed the word on to them, and those gentlemen are, as always, for all of our township residents, were right on. So I just spread the word, and the real credit should go to Mike and to Don. Those are the guys that really take care of us, and I thank God that we have such a responsive manager and public recs department. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. My second thing I would have to talk about here is radar use. A tremendous meeting back in July. Very, very tremendous. Couldn't really go ahead and bring this up then, forgot about it, but it's already voted on, but I will go ahead and take my comment on that. You guys signed off a resolution to go ahead and support, I would have to say is the right term, or you could use our terminology, to Senator McCarter's office for local municipalities to use the radar and lift that ban that's currently in place. I would object to any sort of radar use by local municipalities, even by the Pennsylvania State Police. I think it's revenue generation, and yes, maybe having that is good, but you can have bad cops go ahead and make the bad use of that radar system. You have to make sure they're calibrated correctly. There's a whole laundry list of things that can happen when you go ahead and purchase radar. Not only that, you have to calibrate like what I was saying earlier, otherwise it could be contested in court as a ticket being dismissed. Quite simply, my last issue here.
But you ought to let Representative McCarter know if you have your own, you matter
did.
too. Okay, good. I
did.
shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah,
to you.
I make sure I do, yeah. Lastly, a matter that I really didn't want to bring from the Pennsylvania Office of Open Records, but had to, and this I will mention for the record, this did not occur under Mr. Taylor's position administration. This occurred under Mr. Berger's administration. I filed a right-to-know law request seeking all salaries, benefits amounts, job position titles when they started to work of the township. That was denied. It was deemed insufficiently specific. At the adjudicating appeals officer Jory Baxter in Harrisburg. They issued a final determination, docket AP 2019-0864. That was, quite frankly, a very eye-opening and case-setting docket dated August 26. And for the foregoing reasons, the appeal is granted in part and denied in part, and the township is required to conduct a good faith search for records and to provide all responsive records subject to the redactions permitted above. Those were employee ID number redactions. Within 30 days, the final determination is bonding on all parties. Within 30 days of the mailing date of this final determination, any party may appeal to the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas pursuant to 65 Pennsylvania Statute 67-1302 subsection A. All parties must be served with notice of appeal.
Should we comply with that?
This was August 26th. Obviously, you have until, I believe, September 26th or around there on the 30th date. 30th day is the last day to hand over the
We are
records.
working on that, and we will certainly comply. We're not appealing it or anything.
That was going to be my question. You stole
Yes,
it right
no.
out of my word. My relationship with this township went sour during this appeal, but once I go ahead and get those records, I think our relationship would be back up to great par. And you guys have been, quite frankly, you and your wife, administrations, your wife, have been up to par with the right to know law, and I greatly appreciate that.
I understand you've been visiting her meetings.
Yes. And
Good, we'll
let me
be
tell
nice to
you,
her.
That was another thing I was going to mention. Let me tell you.
I did give you a good recommendation. I said that
Well,
we've worked out a good relationship.
Let me go ahead and tell you that the way that they run it up there is tremendously different from what they run down here. And I appreciate I'm going to say this again, I appreciate this board's willingness to comply with the Sunshine Act, as I may have not or may have seen that being rightfully followed at the county commissioners meeting. And you guys should, if any of your commissioners here want to take a look at what goes on, look at the videos, look at the agenda items of the county commissioners meetings recently. It's very eye-opening, truly is. And I want to end on this note, since it is 9/11. What most people don't really know is a 9/11 happens every day. And 9/11 happens every day. And that number of the people that were killed on 9/11, we have that same amount, if not more, being killed with young children. So keep that in mind. Many people don't know that fact. That would be all. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other public comment at this point? There being none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.